Hello, I'm Zaccura and welcome back to my channel, and today's video is part 3 of 4 in this tiny character insight series I've been doing. But before we get into that, just wanted to let everyone know that today, Sunday, December 23rd, is the day that I have sent out the digital perks to all of the backers for Zig's journey, or at least all of the backers who selected the perks that come with the digital stuffs. I don't know if the emails have been sent out already by the time this video goes up, or if this video is going up first, but if you are a backer and you are expecting the digital ebook / audiobook, then keep an eye out for that email. And I will post an update on the Indiegogo campaign page once all of the emails are sent out, so that way you guys will know whether you should still be waiting for yours or if they have already been sent out. And if your perk included the digital wallpaper pack as well, you will be receiving that in the same email that has the ebook. And as always, thanks so much for your support and your patience, and I hope you guys will enjoy. And now that that's all out of the way, let's get into some character insights, shall we? So this week's character that I'm going to be talking about is Fleek, and she's one of the first people Zig meets besides Yukio. Fleek is 15 years old, which makes her the oldest of the main characters, or at least the oldest of the non-adult characters. She lives in Hat Clock Town, which is a town that Yukio was heading towards when they all met, and she is the daughter of a special luthier / all-around instrument crafter, which is why she has a flute. Her father made her that flute when she was very young after he saw that his daughter was always very scared of animals. Fleek's flute is very special because depending on the song that she plays, she is able to attract all different kinds of animals. It acts like a soothing call to them. And so as the years went by, Fleek began to master the flute and became pretty much obsessed with figuring out the right sound patterns that attracted different animals. And needless to say, she no longer feared animals, but not just because she had this tool that could, in a way, control them, but because the more time that she spent around the animals, the more she learned of each of their characteristics, and because of that, there wasn't really anything to fear anymore because she knew how each of them acted, and she actually began developing a big affection towards animals. And now, Fleek's daily hobby is going around Hat Clock Town and finding stray animals that she then helps free back to where they belong. And there are actually quite a lot of these stray animals inside Hat Clock Town, because just outside of town, there happens to be a bunch of different natural animal habitats, and so a lot of the townspeople have taken to capturing and selling the animals as exotic pets. But because these animals are wild and not domesticated or tamed, people usually soon discover that they do not make proper pets, and many of the time they end up just simply abandoning the animals. But the animals are stuck in the closed-off town, unable to get back to where they came from. So using her flute, Fleek finds and lures these stray animals out of the town and gets them back to where they belong. Fleek's personality is very, well, let's put it this way, she's definitely not insecure. She's very upfront and can be quite brash and a bit explicit if you get on her nerves. And I find it really funny that Fleek is a character that I actually came up with a lot of backstory, as you just heard, but hardly any of it is actually shown in the book. I guess it's just that there wasn't enough space and things really needed to focus on Zig's journey. So her whole story, much like all of the other side characters' stories, was really hardly shown. But nonetheless, I think she really rounds out the group as sort of the one kid who's already sort of grown up. Like, she knows who she is, but at the same time, she's still quite young, and that is clearly apparent despite her maturity compared to the other characters. Some other little insights into the main cast of characters for Zig's journey that I'm not sure anyone would notice or pick up on this, but I tried to make sure that each character had their own unique way of sitting. Like they would sit in a certain way, or they were most keen to be sitting kind of in the same way. This was something that I sort of picked up from last year's Inktober project, where I did String to the Other Side, which was a wordless story with my characters Willow and Michael. And those characters, that style of characters, have very, very simple facial features. So it wasn't easy to express many things with just their face. And combine that with the fact that the whole story was wordless. It didn't have any narration or any worded explanation. So I had to learn how to tell a lot of story through body language. Instead of just relying on their face, I had to show how they were feeling and much of their character through the way that they stood, or the way that they slept, or the way that they just carried themselves and did normal things. And from that, I really started to appreciate and focus on showing a character's personality through their entire body. So when it came to the characters in Zig's journey, I tried to make sure that each character had their own way of carrying themselves that was kind of unique to them. And one of those things was the way that they would sit down. Zig tends to sit with his feet flat on the ground with his knees straight up, and usually ends up resting his arms on his knees. Yukio prefers to sit good old cross-legged, usually because he tends to cradle his stuffed toy and ukulele, because the boy doesn't have a backpack. I don't know how he manages to carry those things with him all the time, but when he sits down, he tends to just have them, there. When you cross your legs, there's like a hole. You get it. Gu is a bit more proper, and I guess you could say like ladylike, so she tends to sit always with her thighs together, and if she's sitting on the floor, then she's usually sitting on her knees. And Fleek sits the way that I like to sit. No, but really, I actually did base the way Fleek sits on a way that I often find myself sitting when I'm sitting on the floor, which is where you have one knee up and the other is like laying flat sideways. Don't ask me why, it's just comfortable. So yeah, there's a little extra insight into the sitting poses, very interesting. But really, I mean, there's a little tip, like if you're designing characters and you want to give them more unique character, consider giving them unique ways of doing normal things. Think about the way that they tend to stand, or the way that they sit, or eat, or dance, whatever. These little things really do go a long way with breathing life into characters. And I might end up making a video in the future just on this topic, because this is something that I really enjoy doing with characters, and it's also something that I often see people not really putting a lot of effort into it. And because of that, they end up probably without even realizing it themselves, but they end up implementing a lot of cliche body language traits that come from being influenced by popular characters. Sometimes it's on purpose, and you can tell, and it's funny, and it's just great. Anime 101, there's so many tropes in anime when it comes to this kind of stuff. But sometimes it's not on purpose, and if you do that, it doesn't matter how unique your character's backstory is, they will always have a sort of feeling of being cliche, and you may not even realize why. So yeah, character body language. If that's a video you guys would like to see me do, let me know. But for now, I hope you guys like this illustration. I had a lot of fun putting all the different animals that appear in the book in this drawing. There's a little sealch, there's a koala, there's a bunch of whale flies, there's some glow globs, there's a couple of prickle pretts, and there's also some birds that weren't really shown in the book, so I figured I would just illustrate it here. And this is one of the 4 illustrations that is included in the digital wallpaper pack, which, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, will be sent out to everyone who ordered it very soon, along with the digital version of the book. There's only one illustration left in this Character Insight series. That video should be going up next week, but I'm not entirely sure because I have a couple other videos I need to do, and I'm not sure which one will come first. So yeah, which is why y'all should be sure to subscribe and hit the little bell so you don't miss out on that. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments. You can also follow me on social media. All the links to that are in the description box, where you can follow me for daily updates. I wish you all a very Merry Christmas. I hope you guys all have a lot of fun, and since I sadly did not have time to put together a Christmas themed video this year, I'll just link you guys to last year's Christmas video. It was a narrated story video, kind of like my monthly character series, and it was actually one of the first stories I wrote for YouTube because it was before I started the monthly character series. It's called Tia's Christmas, it's cringy, and you should watch it. The link is in the card and the description box, and until next time, stay awesome, stay inspired, always. See ya!